Millions of people here inside the United States are starting to panic, and for good reason. They don't know what to do. Senior citizens are now running out of options. Seniors rely on a fixed income in most cases, and that is through Social Security. Well, that right there, according to some, is in question. But it's what we are now going through. The stock market, the tariffs, the Trump administration. What in the world is going on? Well, I want to break down what is happening and how this is going to impact every single one of us starting tomorrow. So I'll break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So what is going on? Well, here's the thing that is happening tomorrow. This is the number one catalyst that has millions of people absolutely freaking out. Not just here in the United States, but in Mexico and Canada and other countries as well. Look at this. It says Trump says the 25% tariffs on Mexican and Canadian imports will start Tuesday with no room for delay. According to the statements from the White House, as of midnight tonight, which means Tuesday morning, we are going to see a 25% tariff on all Mexican and Canadian imports. That will likely be paid by the American people. That is why people are freaking out. Just today, just to give you an idea, the Dow dropped nearly 650 points simply because people were worried about Trump's latest tariffs and how this could potentially slow down the U.S. economy. Now, I want to break down a few things because what we are now facing is something we've never faced before. But we're actually seeing some positive signs as a result. Look at this, okay? It says, Trump says 25% tariffs on Mexican and Canadian imports will start on Tuesday, and they will. But how is this impacting us? Well, here's what you need to understand. In his comments, this rattled the stock, or just say rattled is an understatement. The stock market sold off on Monday. This is where many seniors are using their investments, their portfolio to live. Somebody wrote to me just the other day, and they were saying that if their portfolio, which my guess is they're not heavily invested into tech and artificial intelligence and chips and all that, but there's probably some exposure. They were saying if they saw an additional 2% sell-off on their portfolio, they would actually run out of money in the next 3 years. Just a 2% sell-off. That's crazy. I want to read you this other statement, this other comment somebody left to me just today. It says, and I quote, "I'm 73 years old, and my only lifeline is my Social Security check. With prices going up again, how am I supposed to live when this past year I only received a $28 monthly increase, and half of that was taken away through Medicare? Keep in mind, there was a 2.5% cost of living adjustment for senior citizens, or for people on Social Security. There was also an, I think, Medicare Part B, I believe, increased by like $12 a month or $14, something like that. Which, if this person's getting a $28 increase per month, if Medicare Part B is, $14, that's half of it. Half of their money's gone. Now, here's what I want you to understand, though. This is why many people are worried. Because President Trump has now imposed these tariffs. He's imposed a 10% tariff on China, which went, then China retaliated, and so there's an additional 10% tariff. So 20% there. We also know there is a 25% tariff on Canadian goods and Mexican goods, which is going to start tomorrow morning. That's going to increase prices. But here's the crazy part. This is actually, again, prices are going to go up temporarily, but as more businesses decide to build and manufacture right here in the United States, that's going to be huge. Okay, that's going to be huge. We now know that there's car manufacturers that were originally scheduled to start manufacturing in Mexico, and I believe maybe it was Honda was one of them. They were going to manufacture in Mexico certain parts. Now they're going to manufacture right here in the United States. Okay, just like Tesla's doing, right? Manufacturing here, just like other companies are doing. If you manufacture here, Apple's now going to bring more. I think they're going to invest like $500 billion over the next 10 years into production here in the United States. We know Taiwan Semiconductors. There was a big meeting today and big announcement today that they're going to invest, I think, like $100 billion in the United States as well. Now we're going to see chips manufactured right here in the U.S., which means prices are going to eventually come down, but in the meantime, they're going to continue to go up. Millions of people are going to suffer, and according to reports, those on a fixed income, which again, 70-some million people are receiving Social Security benefits, the majority of which are actually living in poverty and are on a fixed income, and that is their only income. So those people are going to feel the pain temporarily. According to reports, this is likely going to go for probably 6 to 12 months before it starts to taper off and people get back to normal. But I want to show you this. Look at this. It says the U.S. to slap tariffs on crop purchases as food imports balloon. It says U.S. agriculture trade deficit to climb to a record $49 billion. This means fruit and vegetables and nuts account for half of crop imports. But it's what President Trump had to say today. This is what I want to read you. It says President Trump said the U.S. would impose tariffs on external agriculture products starting on April 2nd. So we got a month. He also went on to say that it would be cruel to start this on April 1st because this is not an April Fool's joke. They are actually going through with this. He says, to the great farmers of the United States, get ready to start making a lot of agriculture products to be sold inside of the United States. Tariffs will go on external products on April 2nd. Have fun. Now, that is exactly what's going to happen. These tariffs will go on external products on April 2nd. That means the farmers here inside the United States are going to do very well, but there's going to be some pain up front. It's going to last for several months, and then we will get through it. But again, experts are saying that those on a fixed income, the lower income households here in the United States, usually those that are making under $40,000 per year, are going to feel the pain. It's going to be stressful. You will struggle to pay your bills. And this is also where President Trump is saying there's more to come. Not just regarding tariffs, but he wants to provide some type of give back to the American people. This could be in the form of that economic refund check, right? Those dividend refunds from Doge, whatever they decide to save or are able to save the federal government. If they're able to save $2 trillion, great. Then if 20%, we get $400 billion going to the American people, potentially $5,000 checks, that would be awesome. But at the same time, is that the reality that we live in? Is that the state of the economy? Probably not. So I bring this to your attention so that you understand right now, millions of people are panicking as their portfolios are selling off. Right? The stock market dipped today. According to the Federal Reserve, just today, they're projecting that the U.S. economy will shrink by 2.8% in the first quarter of 2025. Okay? Just the other day, we learned that it wasn't going to shrink that bad, but there was going to be it was going to somewhat slow down. But back in, I believe it was December, I believe the Federal Reserve said the U.S. economy in the third quarter of 2025 was going to grow by 3%. Now we're going to shrink by 2.8%. That's a 5.8% adjustment. That's a swing. That's a massive swing. So we'll see what happens. All we know right now is yes, Canada and Mexico are going to be hit with these tariffs starting tomorrow. As they do, prices are going to fluctuate, which likely means they're going to go up, which means you're going to pay more money and you will actually have less in savings. So we'll see what happens moving forward, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.